So, John,
Hello.
back at 2000 Trees.
Yeah, man.
How's your weekend been?
Good. I mean, we've only been here today. We played Bolton last night, so we've only been here for what, like 4 or 5 hours. So just kind of getting into it.
I know, yeah, and it's just like, it's always a lovely festival because, you know, it's always a ton of friends playing as well, so just catching up with people. I came here as a kid as well, so it's quite special to be back,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And last time we had a chat was before this dreaded pandemic hit.
Yeah.
What happened with you guys at the time? What did you have planned that kind of had to get pushed back?
I remember we had the album. Basically, we just released the third album, and we managed to get in a couple of UK tours.
No, second album. Sorry.
Second album.
Yeah.
It's a second album.
Yes,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
It was that long ago.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we got in a few tours, and then we kind of just knuckled down over. We thought, well, this is the perfect time to write. So we spent a lot of lockdown writing the third album,
Yeah.
and just preparing that and doing, just getting ready, basically when we can play again. So.
Yeah, and then what was it like kind of writing in a pandemic, which is completely different from when you've had to do it before?
We were quite lucky because there's two of us. Obviously, there was actual restrictions on numbers of people, so we were quite early to get back in rehearsing and writing.
Yeah.
So, like Johnny said, it was the perfect time to just be like, well, we have to deal with what we can control. We lost, a lot of tour dates that we, were really looking forward to. Luckily, got some of them rebooked, but in the meantime, we just made the third album, Nocturnal Maneuvers, and then timed it pretty well for when things opened up. So, went on a kind of 30 day UK tour in October. And now we're here, kind of writing again, and still chugging along.
Yeah.
Does that mean album 4 is on the way then?
It definitely is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about halfway there, so.
Yeah.
It's the best one yet.
Yeah.
You got to say that,
Very
though.
cliche, but I honestly think it's the best we've done.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's say that this fourth album is on its way. How is it sounding at the moment compared to the previous?
Well, I
It's
think
all
everyone's-
jazz.
Yeah.
No.
There's every single one we felt like we've done a progression in terms of like not just what we sound like, but what we can physically do as two people.
Yeah.
So we're putting a lot more. There's a lot more we're doing. So a lot more vocals from both of us. A lot more like you're using SPD a lot more.
Yeah. So there's
Just generally
subtle
trying to push
things.
it a bit more, but it's sounding a lot more. I don't know what the word is. It's a lot more. It's kind of spacier, I guess. It feels like a lot. It's rather than like the old stuff, which is very like direct. It feels like it's quite all-encompassing. It's quite a big sounding record so far.
I think if you listen through to the kind of progression of the three albums, it's gradually become more spatial.
We learned how to write songs.
Yeah. I just think you hope to get better, and I just think we have got better at arranging and.
I think that's the main thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like they're more, less like sort of straight to the. I mean, they've still got some sort of bangers on there, but like there's a lot more writing going on basically.
Yeah.
So
Bangers.
yeah, man.
Bangers.
It is. That's what you said earlier.
I hate myself.
Yeah, you should.
You've said it now.
Yeah.
All your tracks are bangers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall.
Now, I know you'll be wanting to get back in the studio shortly this year, but where can people see you? Because I'm sure people will want to see you on tour if they haven't done so.
We've got quite a few festivals coming up, but obviously, I have prioritised writing. So I think we're, in Belgium next week, doing Latitude, which should be fun. That's quite a big stage, so it's nice to start to play on kind of larger.
Try and play in that one as well, isn't it? So.
Yeah, first time, so that'll be good. We have 3 bigger shows at the end of the year, one in Bristol, one in Leeds and one in London, which is kind of like a curated festival, all-day festival thing with bands who we really like called Other Maneuvers, kind of linked to the last album. So there, people can get tickets for that now. Please do.
Yeah, hurry up.
Because they're big places, and I want it to be
It's selling
not embarrassing and nice for everyone.
Yeah. No.
Mainly us.
It's just like not embarrassing.
Not embarrassing.
So when you guys step foot into a studio, you've obviously got your demos and you kind of know what you're going to do, but how does it go from that demo written stage to a finished product?
It's really weird. We're very critical in rehearsing, so like we never have like a massive
Backlog of
amount of songs that we want to try. We literally have the exact ones that we know. We're just quite critical about it, and we know when something's working and when it doesn't, so we tend to just go in with the exact amount of songs, and then we've got it to a point where we always do like most people do, like a little phone recording or something. So you
Yeah.
got an idea and you listen to it and try and improve on it once you've listened to it. And then a lot of time we leave bits out because when you go in the studio, that's the magic. You can there's some bits just you never write; they just come when you're in that moment. And
Yeah, it's a happy accident to
Yeah,
be in
and
the
that's
studio.
the funnest part.
You need to keep it lively in the studio. I mean, obviously certain bands, take a completely different approach, and I think sometimes it can sound quite sterile. So you've got to accept and hope for mistakes. Really.
yeah, and we're doing a bit different this time. We've gone with a different studio. We went originally to record demos, just to get guide sort of thing, and they turned out so good that we were like, we need to record everything here. And yeah, so we're doing it a bit different this time from the last three. So hopefully there'll be a difference in the sound as well, not just the progression.
Yeah,
So.
I mean it's important. Fourth album. It's
Yeah,
like,
you got-
you don't want to go through
Yeah.
the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
Do you experiment then when you're demoing and recording? Do you try things just to see if they work?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like you just in the studio, there's all sort of tricks that most of the engineers kind of try and get in, and you just give it a go. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least you tried it.
Yeah.
You know? So-
Is there something that really, really has not worked that you've tried and you've just gone, that's
Weirdly,
horrendous?
some of the weirdest things that we never thought, like doing a really ridiculously high vocal,
Yeah.
which I'm not good at because I'm quite low in register. And if you bury
Like
it in the
an
mix, it's this weird little presence.
Yeah.
So
Like adding in sort of like like Hammond organs and stuff, but they're not there. You can hear them, but they're just there along with the melody. That they just give it an extra layer.
which people
yeah.
wouldn't necessarily expect.
And just
from-
just adding in bits that we weren't doing in the in the rehearsal, just stuff that someone else is like looking at it from the outside, and they go,
Yeah.
actually this could work there, and you just give it a go.
Yeah, good. And you've had a wealth of experience now, especially with fourth record on the way. Let's say a new band came along, they watched this interview. What one piece of advice would you give them if you had to say, look, do this or don't do that? What would that one thing be?
I think we're both always in agreement that you play every single show that you should play, because playing shows is the only way to get better and the only way to get really sort of like tight as a unit. Because there's no point, you can have great songs, but if you're not gigging all the time, like we used to gig like just so much, like
Yeah, I mean, it builds a level of energy to the show that I think people, it transfers to an audience. And I've always said, take what you do very seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of dressing up and a lot of extraneous stuff that can get in the way of
Actually,
making like thoughtful music. So I'm always key to be like, look, you've got to be really good live,
and also not. And if you play to like 10 people or 100 people, just play the exact same. Never just turn it off just because it's a small gig, because that happens.
Yeah.
Or because there's always going to be one person that will, appreciate it or like it no matter what. So you just got to always give it 100%.
Yeah.
Just that's what we've always done, and it really does pay off in the long run, because those people that you impress at those tiny gigs sometimes turn out to be people that you see down the line that can help out. So
yeah.
Good. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure
Thank you
having a
very
catch
much.
up.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
very
to
much.
see
Cheers.
buddy, cheers.
you. Bye.